one of my personal favorites is Rockford.
The guest appearance in that, literally.
Yeah, but I would not really take it as guest appearance. How different do you find these kind of roles, where right from Fire to Rockford? How difficult is switching over?
I don't, to be honest, even think of Rockford when I narrate my films, but every role is different. I mean, I've played a role of a woman who's gang raped and how she struggles for justice in Bhavandar. I've played a role of a sort of a freedom fighting activist kind of outfit who is seen as a terrorist in Mani Ratnam's Tamil film, where it's almost like an LTTE person that you play. I've played a role of a grave digger who buries little children as part of her work, and how the society views her and her struggle with it in a Marathi film called Mati Mai. I've played in 1947 during partition, a woman who's caught between love and friendship and the times in Earth, in Deepa Mehta's Earth. So there have been different roles, and like I said, if you can empathize with different stories, with different characters, then it's not that difficult. Sometimes even, definitely those characters have impacted me also as a person. Maybe not consciously, but it kind of feeds on each other. Even my human rights work, what I have learned on and interacted with women, I'm sure has helped me understand these characters that I play.
Subtle things that actually affect you.
Right. I had, for instance, done a lot of work in Rajasthan as part of my social work. So when I did Bhavandar, even how they sit and how they have to put, not that I had practiced with pots on my head, but just the whole ethos was not unfamiliar to me. So in a way, both my different fields have helped each other.
Most of your movies have become a political statement, if you can say that. Do you really choose them consciously to make a political statement?
I think it's both conscious and instinctive. I've always been political in some ways. I didn't grow up in a political family. In fact, my political training, so to say, or the beginning started with street theatre, when I did with Safdar Hashmi, who was a theatre activist, and we used to perform these street plays. And then through my masters in social work and exposure to all these different issues of women, issues of children, issues of violence. For me, personally, the most political and the most engaging, creatively also, statement was through Firak. Because while it was a creative expression, it was something that was really cathartic. I very strongly feel about sectarian violence and how it has divided people all around the world.
We will definitely come to that. But before that, let me ask you a very short question. As you say, they are political as well as instinctive.
Right. Well, so, conscious as well as instinctive.
Conscious as well as instinctive. So does Nandita Das choose film to fulfill a certain agenda that's there? Your political statement, your social work?
Well, when you say agenda, it almost seems a bit conniving, like, there is something. My agenda is to have a more humane society, where there's less prejudice, people live with less fear, there's more equality. It's an idealistic idea, it's more a dream. And, Gandhiji had said, be the change you want to see in the world. And I truly think that's my mantra. And in our small ways, I'm no great activist. I have interacted with so many activists who have dedicated their lives, so I would not pretend to be one. Just as a conscious person, you want to make your life more purposeful, more meaningful, and you want to engage in things that give you that meaning. So whether it's a film, whether it's an interaction here with young people, whether it's, now I'm also the chairperson of the Children's Film Society, so trying to make films for children, whether I write an article in a magazine, whether I'm acting in a film. For me, these are just different means of communicating, of reaching out, of sharing my own angst and concern and helplessness or anger or whatever it may be,
Yeah, your film, directorial film, Firak, is on anti-Muslim riots that happened in Gujarat. And we in Nepal are also seeing changes. These are transitional times for us, and a lot of issues of ethnicity has come into foray. So do you think a person like you actually feels something that's not right and then you have to speak about it?
Definitely. I did feel very strongly, especially at, when the Gujarat carnage happened in 2002, I was doing a series of talks on identity and the notion of the other. And I've probably been to 50 colleges all over the country and even abroad where I talked about these issues, and I was quite appalled by the fact that even a conversation about religious differences or about the Gujarat riot would become so polarized, and there was so much of us and them involved that I felt that this is a story I want to tell. And so yeah, in that sense, there was an agenda. There was an agenda to reach out, to say that, look, violence spares nobody. It's not about somebody being Hindu or Muslim. You know, it is about being caught in, and then the fact that violence is going to reach your doorstep, whether you like it or not. It is about the fact that it's not just the politicians that we have to blame, but our own prejudices, our own conditioning. And in some ways, Firaaq was this little mirror showing our own selves. And I did feel compelled. The stories compelled me to direct more than saying, okay, I want to direct my first film and let me look for a story.
So you think somewhere along the line we are probably not using or have forgotten that middle path?
Of?
Which, I'm talking about extremism and the moderates.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of non-violence. I do think that violence can never solve anything. Of course, there needs to be more nuanced debate than that, because some people have had to, some outfits have had to take up violence in order to fulfill that idealism of having a more egalitarian society. While I do not justify violence as a mean, I understand, in the circumstances with which they came, whether it was Bhagat Singh in our own country during freedom fighting movement, or so there were a whole lot of people who were martyrs, who we now call martyrs, who by the British were seen as terrorists, and we call them freedom fighters. So there's always that debate, and now with the Maoist thing here, and in India there's a lot of debate about it, that are Maoists really representing the angst of the common people? But there is also, of course, this thing that, can violence ever solve anything? Doesn't violence always beget more violence? So these are definitely issues that we all, unfortunately in the media, I don't know about the Nepalese media, but in our media I can say that nuanced conversation is less and less. It has to be either you're on this side or you're on that side. It is a yes or a no.
Yeah. As a journalist, we always like to
have sound bites and sensationalize everything. But I think a real depth in a conversation or a thinking can only happen when you have more nuanced conversation around these issues.
So your political representation is definitely there through your movies, your social work and all. Let me ask you, how much do you actually know about Nepal?
Very little. I have to be honest that this is my first trip to Nepal, and I've been wanting to come here forever and ever, and I did have a couple of invites before, and somehow something or the other went wrong. So this time when I had, to be honest, it was more to just come to Nepal than even the film festival or anything, and I do speak in a lot of places, so that was less of a temptation. It was more that, this is a neighboring country, and I have been part of something called South Asians for Human Rights, called SEHER. So I have met a lot of Nepalese friends who I have met in Delhi and Bombay and Lahore and Karachi, where, I do also a lot of work on Indo-Pak peace initiatives. And so I truly believe that this whole South Asian identity is something we need to work on. And in fact, Anak Dikshit is somebody I met when SEHER was being formed in 2000. And so I am aware of some of the struggles in Nepal, and I've been meeting a lot of Nepalese activists, writers and others who I've met through these conferences and South Asian outfits. But I think till you don't really come here, till you don't feel, जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं कि the pulse, the nubs, लोगों की nubs क्या है? So the pulse of the people, till you don't really see that, till you don't meet young students. Like, I thought the interactions at the film festival were excellent, and primarily because I think people are really hungry here to interact, to ask questions, to engage. There's a lot more idealism that I see here than if I was talking in Delhi or Bombay.
I think it also is a result of commercialization.
Is it? In which sense?
In India is a lot more successful financially or economically.
I don't know about successful. Every place is full of contradictions. It's, I think, any bigger place you go to, you're swarmed by so much of consumerism and commercialization that, these more pertinent questions or even idealism is seen as a waste of time. Exactly. But even in India, when I go to smaller towns or less privileged areas, and we have interactions, I enjoy them much more, because people are far more political, people are far more articulate, people care about much more what's happening, and it's far more satisfying.
I'm not going to ask you whether you have watched a Nepali movie or not.
Which I haven't.
I know. So, are you planning to come here, and if you come here, what would it be for?
I would come here for various different things. It'll depend who's inviting me for what. But in fact, yesterday, Kanak Dixit announced, saying that we have to get Firak, my directorial debut. He said, we have to get it here and bring you back to have an interaction. I said, absolutely, I will come. I don't know, I've done films in 10 different languages, and in fact the Nepalese language is quite similar to, it has a bits of Odia feeling in it, because I'm half Odia, so there are a lot of words, like somebody said duita, and I was like, wow, that's an exact word in Odia, for two we say duita, and there was somebody said something after, they said pachi, and that's like Gujarati, pachi means after. So because I've done films in all these different languages and I know quite a few of these languages, I think for me to pick up Nepalese would be easier. So if any good director is watching, let me know.
Oh, we would definitely want to invite you further.
Thank you.
And maybe if you can, even for movies.
Sure, absolutely.
Nandita Das, thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
That was Nandita Das, the famed Indian actor, who's come to the capital for an Indian film festival. Thank you for watching. We'll get on with more news in just a while.